McDowell's supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay By Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another wonderful Thursday afternoon to you, everyone. Welcome once again to The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, as your host and producer, alongside Alton Jaquan Joseph, our technical operator. Hope you're having a good day so far. I gotta tell you, I don't know about the days so much, but the nights have been better, the last 2 or 3 of them, a lot cooler. But the days, of course, they are going to be humid. You're going to perspire a lot because the moisture that's around, when the sun warms it up, it becomes a blanket, of course, of water vapor, aka humidity, that can make us all feel pretty stuffy and uncomfortable. But I do feel a little better these days, weather-wise, climate-wise, all of that. And I hope it is the same with you. Ours is still a beautiful country of generally beautiful, salubrious climes. And the only problem we seem to have in the country is the human problem, you know. I'm talking about things like the crime, like the non-stop shootings and stabbings and acts of violence that are being committed against one another, the crazy driving on the road, the wanton littering. And you know what's especially sad for me? Almost all these issues and problems that we have, it's never women, doing it. It's my gender. Albeit those who I think, when the demographics are tabulated, they will be a lot younger than me. But it's males, young men. And I'm especially sad because I am a father of several young men. But it gives me reason to be more thankful. And when I say thankful, it's God that I thank. That the young men who God has blessed me to become father to, none of them have veered down that path. And to any of you who have the same blessings, be sure to be thankful for it, because I cannot imagine being the parent that I'll hear knocks on my door that one of my son has been shot, killed, stabbed, not as an innocent bystander, not as mistaken identity, but because he was involved in some kind of gang business and so on, in some kind of drug business, or the police took him down, or is involved in crime. Many times in life, and it's a sad thing that this has been encouraged a lot by people who are supposed to be giving us guidance in spiritual things. I listen to preachers and, both those that you able to meet in flesh and blood and those you see on the TV and all of that, and all they talk about blessings is money, 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 money. That's all they talk about. Once you talk about blessings, oh, I'm blessed. God has blessed me. A lot of them, I'm seeking a blessing and I'm praying for a blessing. It's a blessing from God. It's almost always, and I don't have anything against money, for people to be happy when they get money. But I as a parent and as someone who has grown older, I have learned to appreciate the blessing of peace. And by peace, I don't just mean to fold your arms and in a lounge chair or in a rocking chair or in a, that's not what I'm talking about only, although it's good. It's a symptom of if you're at peace. I'm talking about the peace of when I know I hear a siren, up and down the place. I know it's not me they're coming for. It's because I ain't involved in anything like that. And when I have reasonable assurance that if the siren is headed to the homes of one of my sons, that is not because they're going to arrest them for something. Not that I'm saying it's impossible, but you have the reasonable assurance. But you have to keep praying that phone call, that knock on the door, that is not someone calling to tell you that someone has shot or stabbed one of your children and so on. And to all of you, parents and family, etc., who have had to go through this, my heart goes out to you. I don't have to experience it for me to know what it is like. And who are the people who it seems feel the pain most? I'm not saying fathers don't care, we saw the television footage of this father at Cicero who was absolutely distraught and inconsolable. But it doesn't seem, as far as we know, that 7-year-old died as an act of violence. We don't know, they're investigating, but I looked at the situation, I said, wow. Child curious, probably went, to look at the pigs and so on, and maybe saw something in that pond or whatever, and decided to try to retrieve it and to try to go, lost his footing, tipped over, got stuck in mud and fell in and couldn't pull himself out. It's a kind of plausible thing, but let's wait for the results of the investigation. The bad driving on the road, I never see women doing it. The crazy overtaking, and in fact, if we have women bikers in this country, you probably can count them on one hand, and if they are riding, you don't see them doing the craziness that the guys are doing all the time. What is it about our guys that they just can't seem to do anything right? I'm not saying women don't mash up public facilities, but if you have a public laundry and bath facility and so on, almost always the guys, I'm already giving it away. Almost always the people who go and who mash up the public pipe and who mash up the public laundry, and destroy this and break this and so on, is almost always guys who doing it. Young men who doing it, and I don't know. Don't guys appreciate and when they have a bathroom facility where they can go and take a shower, where they can wash or somebody can wash for them, a girlfriend. I still think there are women, by the way, who you give them, if it's 5 or 10 or whatever is agreed, and they'll go and wash your clothes for you, whatever. Sometimes your own sister, your girlfriend, relative, if you feel you're a little agosh and chapat that you cannot do it for yourself, they'll do it for you. Why you want to go and mash up, if they have standpipes, the few that they have left, the same you all will pull up with a van and drums and fill it up, but you all have to find a way to mash it up. Sometimes like it's something to impress me. Just leave your wash like face and then you have a nice captive audience that applauds you, because that shows strength and that shows prowess and that shows fearlessness. That Upa Pepe son. You put public payphones. I've never actually seen who's mashing them up, but I can almost take my reputation on the people who mash up the payphones is men, young men who do it. Y'all can say what y'all want about women, the women in our country are at a far higher level of culture, at a far higher level of community mindedness, public spiritedness, patriotism. They appreciate things. They're the ones who stick by the children, when fathers abandon them and so on. They're the ones who are single parents who have to go to work, but they make sure they make their way to that PTA meeting. They're the ones who at the sports meet go there and see their children perform and encourage them and so on. Respect the women in this country, because if you see we didn't have them, I want to say that I think women for the main are the glue that hold our society together. If it was for the guys, and I don't mean every single guy, you know that when I say so. There are some great guys as fathers, as whatever you say it, as mentors, as coaches and so on. But if you see we did not have the women we have, who have guts, who have cheboyo, who stick to it, who believe in family, who believe in their children, who believe in community, who believe in country and so on. If you see we didn't have them, all fall down for us. It's women holding our society together. It's men who seem determined to destroy it, and I don't know why. Even if it means they're destroying themselves in the process. I just don't understand the destructiveness that we see among men. There is something about the way men, young men in our society are socialized. They are badly socialized, that they have just this destructive, including self-destructive streak around and see you can shoot moon bagay, you can ride bike, you can drive machine, and many times they get it accomplished. They kill themselves. I honestly, I don't have the answer to it. I just don't. You talk about fatherlessness and so on. I don't know. And on top of it all, they're attacking the women. They're trying to destroy the women. They're watching the women when they come from late at night working in a hotel, get off the buses to track and follow them to see if you can rob them and snatch their bag and rape them and do this kind of thing again. On top of the fact that women are holding this society together, the men are always looking for a way to attack and destroy and harm a woman. They're doing it all the time. Most of it doesn't get reported and so on. And I really don't know. This phenomenon of all the gun crimes and all the stabbings and all that. Tell me who's involved in it. Who is involved in it? Why? Because your father left your mother and break up and so on. That means that you have to go. But your mother there hustling. She hustling for you way past the age she should be hustling for you. You got arrested, is she going down to the station and she running there and try to see if she can get somebody to raise a little money to help you. She have all this stress. I mean, think of honoring your mother, no man. Think of having a little bit of, some of the boyo that she's showing for you. Show some for her. That you want to show her that you are going to come through and do right by her because of the way she went through all the pressure and all the stresses. You mean you don't care about your mother? Before you in any little problem, she crying, she telling the world what a nice and loving son you are. Prove it now. Make her right about that. Show a little bit of lovingness. If for nobody else, do it for your mother. If your father not there and you don't give two hoots about him because he didn't give two hoots about you. Women don't easily abandon their children, my friend. It's very few and far between. Show a little bit of strength. to chart a better course in your life for the sake of your mother. Anyway, I don't know if there's anything you can say any more about it. You know, it's like women carrying the pressure and the pain of it all, right down to the point of you getting shot, you getting killed, you're killing somebody. Is they going up and down the station and the prison and the remand to see you and to bring food for you and in hospital, and they up and down. At the same time, they have your little brothers and sisters which you should have been helping them with. They have to be up and down, you know. Basically, they're going off for your sake and so on, rather than you adding some value, some assistance to their life and to the life of the family. You know, do we, any of us, understand that? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. It's always guys doing the evil things in our society. You know, they put a toilet facility, they have to go and see how they're mashing it up and so on. You know, whatever it is for their own good. They have to find a way, a community center, so that they can go play a little table tennis. No, they have to mash up the louvers. They have to mash up the locks on the door. They have to do something. It's just a whole nihilistic, you know, mash up everything, level everything kind of mentality. And they're leveling lives and so on. I don't have the answers, be honest with you. What's Miguel telling me there? I hope, yeah, I'm going to talk about that church thing. I don't know if I'll take it from the point of view of calling him uncouth and all of that, but Miguel writes me a message. He says, I hope your Christian values don't intimidate you against speaking about that uncouth church leader who was taking his delusions of grandeur to another level. I don't know if I want to go into all of that. But this whole thing at the funeral of Ramopolio, to me, the reaction of Father Albert, Father Fax, not it was about the outrageousness of embarrassing people in what is supposed to be a grand occasion for a national figure and so on. I don't want to go there. If the man is the custodian of the values and the rules and the standards and the whatever you call it of his church, and he considers that to be paramount, you cannot tell him some time ago you had, what was it? Some pastors of some church disciplining and expelling or disfellowshipping whatever members for going to jazz. I didn't know jazz was considered to be, you know, an unchristian thing, whatever. But if they do, to me what was important in that case, and I said so, was that the members should have known that before. They are the articles of faith and whatever it is that you must subscribe to when you're a member of a church and thing, and you should know what it is the church believes in doctrinally and otherwise and so on, and even what is not in the actual document. In the course of church meetings, which I think most churches are supposed to have that regularly, and your prayer meetings and your Bible study and all this kind of thing, you're supposed to understand what it is that the Presbyterians believe and so on, and what is their position on this and that and the other. And in the course you develop that kind of, we might say, rules, principles, and standards for Christian living. It's not when people go to jazz, then all of a sudden you rise up and you disfellowship them because that is something worldly they should not have gone to. There must be, and that is what I thought about this whole thing with the Ramopolio funeral and the reaction of the priest. It's not when the people are performing and when the people are clapping that on the spot. It's like making it up as you go along. It's like a magistrate who doesn't refer to the law and to the rules and to you know, the body of precedent, what higher courts and appeal courts have ruled. You know, you just go and you just, you know, I come and I speak abusively about somebody and I'm brought before a magistrate and they punish me because I insulted this minister or I insulted the prime. There is no law called insulting the prime minister. Like you just come and you just decide you're going to fine me for using language insult. Is there any such law as insulting whatever and so on? This is something I was saying about the Natoki situation and all of that, you know, about a magistrate bringing in a pastor of a church, if that is what he told me happened, to basically serve as a kind of a character reference and say this is evil and these books are evil, and on that basis to convict. If that is what happened, there ought to be an objective, systematic body of law that you can refer. There ought to be a list of books that are proscribed or forbidden or prohibited, whatever, in the country. It's not just off the cuff, you know, capriciously and so on, you just rise up and say, this is an evil book and I'm sentencing you, or I'm fining you for it. It has to be something. That is not the way law operates in this kind of, just off the cuff kind of way. And likewise, I'm saying, you have a church. You're paying tributes to people. A man's own son comes to sing a song. And it's only when he's finished singing the song, or when the song is done, that you say, this is completely unacceptable. Well, how did he know that how would he have known that is unacceptable? Funeral planning should involve those things. What it is that you plan to do for that tribute song. Can we see the lyrics of the song? Can we hear a recording of the song before? And it doesn't have to be the priest who does everything by himself. That is why I think you have a presbyter, and you have people who are your secretary, you have people who are whatever and so on, your deacon and so on, that you can say, deacon so and so, can you listen to that? Because Ramapolio's son intends to play it in the church on Sunday or whatever, and we want to make sure that it is not so doctrinally at variance with the church, or it doesn't embarrass whatever. Do that. It's not on the spot. That showed a lack of planning, a lack of prior notification of what the policy is and so on. At no point you would just come, a manager just badging in here and saying, you should not be talking about the church and criticizing the church. Shelton, you should know better than that. Well, how do I know better than that? When you never told me, look, that there is a policy of MBC that we do not criticize priests and bishops of the Catholic Church, whatever. That is something we should have known before, and I just looked at it and I said, but wait. A man's song, and I listened to the song about whatever, have faith in God and so on, and I'm wondering, but what it is about this which is so off from the church's own position? This is not the first time you have had non-Catholics come to do specials and tributes and so on. Do you remember the funeral of Sir John Compton? Performances by Minel, and I don't even need to go far back, but this one sticks in my mind. Compy now moving on, and people applauded. I remember clearly there was applause when Minel, finished singing a song, and other people came and did their tributes and so on. I didn't hear anything about no clapping in the Catholic Church. There have been so many other funerals. There was a funeral, I think, right after George Odlum, there was Brian Bernard, because in both George Odlum's funeral and in Brian Bernard, the former police commissioner, it was Paba, Monsignor Patrick Anthony, who did, the sermon on both occasions. There were people who came and they sang Elton John's Daniel, My Brother. We know about Elton John, his personal situation, his life, an Elton John song. They sang Brian, My Brother, they changed the words slightly and so on. I remember all of that. People applauded. So I'm just trying to figure out, not what was wrong with the performance by Ramapolio's song, but the question is, if you're going to have a funeral of that magnitude, a funeral of that level and importance, given the personality who you are paying respects and tribute to me, that is something that should have been decided and agreed upon before. It should have been part of the funeral planning, not off the cuff, on the spot. You just rise up and that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to the man's son. That was not anybody who came there. That is the man's son. Maybe he expressed some doctrinal position, but that should have been planned before. You don't do things like that to embarrass people on the spot. And if it is something that brings the Catholic Church into disrepute already, it done happen already. It gone already, you can't take it back. And if there is something about applause, that should have been known to the congregation before. Not when they clap, you come and tell them we don't applaud. And it's completely unacceptable. Come on, what's going on? Between the time Ramapolio died and when that funeral happened, there was more than enough time for all those things to have been ironed out and agreed upon. More than enough time. I don't know if this is the case. I don't know how priests are chosen for different occasions. I don't know how the Catholic Church decided that Paba was going to do. And I think those funerals happened one day after the other. It was going to be the one to do George Odlum's funeral, and then Brian Bernard's funeral, whatever. I don't know. But I do hope it's not a case of priests running forward to volunteer to be the, how you call them in that case, the celebrants or whatever of mass and funeral, whatever. Because it is a big occasion. It's an occasion, Don't ever believe that this love of being on a pedestal and being at the center of attention and the limelight, don't ever think priests are immune from that, you know. To run to the bishop and to say, I want to do the Ramopolian funeral, because you see it as the big stage, as the big platform for you to be your flamboyant self and to say the things. I don't know if that's the way, or if it's a case where bishop or whoever says, Father so-and-so, I'm assigning you to that funeral or whatever. I don't really know how it's done. But I hope it's not a case of priests who are lovers of publicity and prominence, whatever, because we have had some of them, not just in the Catholic Church, in others. In fact, too much of the problems I see with preaching now is of pastors and preachers and reverends, whatever. To them, the pulpit is a place of flaunting themselves, to have people eating out of their hands, to be, magnets for applause, and to be popular and to be regarded, and for people to wow people and so on, as opposed to going there with a message, to preach the word, to reach people's hearts, to convert them in the power of the word of God. And not yourself, you want to be showing, how you're such a populist and roots person and that sort of thing. I'm not saying this is what happened. But sometimes, if you see, that is what motivates and drives clerics and pastors and priests and so on. Sometimes in the middle of it, they can find themselves disappointed. Because if you are at heart an egotist, an egocentric person who is looking for the applause, who's looking for the praise, who's looking to wow people, who's looking to have people, as I said, eating out of your hand, you will feel rubbed the wrong way if the applause that you craved, and that was your motive for volunteering and pushing yourself to do it, if you see more of the applause is going to other people, is going to the tribute, is going to the song, is going to the son and so on. Sometimes you chafe at those things because your own heart was not right to begin with. So the things that get more applause, that seem to wow people the more, it becomes a sort of a situational rivalry for you, where you had hoped to be the star of the show, but you see someone else starring in the show. And so you are raw about it, and you express your rawness about it in ways that are disguised to show as if it is some principle or something that you're against. You're against because you have been essentially upstaged. You have been essentially overthrown in the sort of the central limelight position that you wanted, and you wanted to use the funeral to achieve. I could be wrong on all those things, but there was no need for that sort of thing at a funeral where there was so much time to do advanced planning and to clear with all the people who are participating. Yes, we accept you're going to do a tribute for your father, but we also want you to accept this is the Roman Catholic Church, and within our own walls there's certain things we don't want people to do there because it goes against the values and the rules of the church. It will bring the church into disrepute, etc., etc. You do those things beforehand. There's no need for you to be taken by surprise, for you to be cornered and to be reacting in a manner that most people will not understand, they will not accept, they will not sympathize with, right there on the spur of the moment. That was uncalled for. Where are we now, Jaquan? I suspect I've gone over. Okay, we still have some time? Huh? Okay. 2 minutes. So Miguel, tell me what you think. I mean, I've delivered a few eulogies in my life. I delivered the eulogy at my mother's funeral. And before I had to produce a script because, I had another family member who's staunchly Catholic and very particular that there was nothing offensive, who took my script and I think went to the priest and sat down with it and decided, whether it was okay, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and so on. And it was okay. And the agreement was that I would not deviate. Not that I would have deviated from it, but to recognize that if I'm going to talk about my mother, if I'm going to talk about this, I have to do it within the context of being truthful and genuine about the reflection of her life that I am giving, and the fact that I am doing it in Monrepo on a Roman Catholic pulpit. You know, if there's anything that they felt I shouldn't put or I shouldn't say, I could have then said, okay, I decline to do it. But I did it, but it was planned long in advance. Both to meet the sensitivities of my own family and as well as to respect whatever the standards and norms and whatever it is of the Roman Catholic Church. I gave another eulogy once, I think, at the Bethel Tabernacle. Thank God, I think the family of a sister-in-law of mine, they were okay with it. I don't think Bishop McLaurin, who, officiated there, that he had any problems with it. Well, he and I, we go way back in terms of, relationship and understanding and so on. So I don't think we anyway far apart on doctrinal matters of faith and Christianity. I don't think there was a problem to begin with. You have to understand the setting that you're in. But again, that eulogy for my sister-in-law was, well in advance, planned. There's nothing there that, there was a little chance of Bishop McLaurin coming and say, oh, no, not in Bethel Tabernacle. Because it was prearranged. And avoid those kinds of embarrassments. And I don't know who should take primary responsibility, but I think the church officials, whether the priest was officiating, or whether deacons or whatever it was and so on, that need not have happened. Not on an occasion like that, to be embarrassing people. Can you imagine how Ramo's son felt right there and then to be told, totally unacceptable, man, come on. That bust. I mean, granted it's a funeral, it's a place to mourn and whatever and so on and grieve, but oh Lord, man, whatever bubble this man had left in him from the loss of his father, that completely bust and crushed that bubble. Imagine how this man would have felt. And it need not have happened, I say again. Yes. Anyway. Cornelia Jacob sends a message where she says, families usually request the priest they want after having spoken to him about his availability and willingness to do so. But often it's the parish priest. Alright, so we're due for a commercial break. I'll leave it at that for the time being and continue a couple more things I want to talk about when we come back. Cornelia adds, but the planners of funerals have to get the authorization from the priest. Song must be vetted. Why wasn't that done? Was it vetted and he deviated from what was vetted? I don't know. I'm just saying that this sort of thing, with proper planning, coordination, whatever, that need not have happened. This is the real issues. We'll be back shortly.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's ginger turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, alongside Jaquan. Someone just sent me a message which I've been, during the break, agonizing whether I want to read it. I don't have any quarrel with Father Albert, or like I said, if the man is in charge, he's the shepherd, he's the custodian, he's the steward, whatever, of the conduct of anything in the church, whether it's a funeral, whether it's ordinary mass, or whatever it is. That he is. I just felt the manner in which it was dealt with, I've said, was unnecessary. This thing should have been cleared beforehand, you know. On an occasion like that where, you know, you're facilitating, putting somebody to rest, bringing comfort to the souls of his loved ones and so on, so at the same time in a church, you know, you're doing something which, you know, I think I've explained myself, you know. But someone sent a message. That Father Albert Priest, he's a dangerous man. Good afternoon, Mr. Daniel. One of his bad news must be done. Call him already and tell him, look for you speaking about him. So wait for Sunday for him to tell you how big your belly is, Mr. Daniel. He's dangerous. Well, if that's all the dangerous is dangerous, to tell me about my big belly and so on, I mean, come on, that's not dangerous. Matter of fact, somebody tell him, make sure he refer to me as Shelly Belly, you know. Give him a name that has been given to me by a certain recent come lately nenin of mine. Instead of he preach the word of God to win souls, people business alone he have on his mind every Sunday, just embarrassing people in church, making people feel uncomfortable. A church is supposed to be a place of comfort and peace, but that man bad news, God go deal with him, and he behaving as though he untouchable, as though is he alone that have God know. I don't really understand that. Like I said, I do not know the particular priest. I don't think I've ever met him in person. I've generally had a very good rapport and relationship with priests, even those I don't agree with. I don't really know how it works in terms of how priests are assigned. I think some things have been said from the pulpit that, if not, would have been better left unsaid altogether. I don't think the pulpit, which is a place, like I said, to bring the news of the gospel of peace and salvation and the word of God and to bring comfort and the message of the love of God. Yes, you pronounce the judgment of God too, upon the unrepentant and this kind of thing. But I mean, I've heard things about priests who clearly seem to be taking digs at people, at politicians. One priest went on a pulpit in Babuno, I think it was again, and lay into what everybody knew was Kenny Anthony and the fact that his mother is a local, we would say, Shabin woman from, the Choiseul PI, Choiseul constituency area, and a white man who was an estate owner, Kenny Anthony has never hid, nobody, his brothers, nobody have ever hid what his racial and ethnic and genealogical makeup is. But a priest went there one time and it was, oh my goodness, do we know what it is like when a horse and a donkey mate, and a horse and a donkey and a white horse and a light, whatever they produced the mule and this and that. Everybody knew that the particular priest was taking digs. And I think one of Kenny Anthony's brothers, who has since departed this life, couldn't take it anymore and came and said he believes the church needs to do something about this renegade priest. I remember the question was put to Monsignor Patrick Anthony, and he said, no, we can't come and tell priests what to preach from the pulpits. Now, Monsignor Anthony, I suspected, was being diplomatic. I'm sure in the background communications and conversations would have been had about this thing, but you don't come and throw a fellow priest under the bus. You don't come and, castigate him publicly and so on. You have conversations that need to be had, and, and you talk to him. Most likely that's what I'm sure they would have had some conversations. But it's like that priest was, and it was only on one occasion. The priest apparently has his political beliefs and his political persuasions, and I think he was letting it get too much into his public communication as a priest, especially from the pulpit. But that's my opinion. There must be other people within the very extensive hierarchy and whatever they call it of the church, the magisterium of the church and so on, who would have known that this is not the way you want to go. You're pushing people away. You're running people. This very same priest was coordinating apparently the spiritual aspects of some activity of a political party, the political party which is widely suspected of being partial to. And something bizarre was happening. You talk about the Indian woman who was sweeping the streets. Do you remember that activity over at the Uralis Booty VG Sports Complex? Where a certain political party, the United Workers' Party, of course, was having some activity, and it was everybody have a bottle of water, and they have to place the bottle of water, on the ground of the VG Sports Complex in some kind of pattern. It's like, nobody touch the water, nobody drinking, just the full bottle of water. I mean, it reminded me of a church, non-Catholic church, that came here with some kind of weird thing about telling people when the preaching is going on, take a bottle of water and put it close to the TV, near the screen of the TV, so that I suppose the preaching would emanate and radiate some power into the bottle and this kind. I mean, I've seen something that sound like witchcraft to me. But I'm told that the priest, the very same priest, was there coordinating it. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether that's a way of making it holy water. I don't know. I don't want to judge, but some weird things have happened. And like I say, I believe the church has an extensive authority and administration and so on to look into those things without, maybe they don't want again to throw one of their own under the bus. But this may not be on the same level as what I'm talking about there. I'm just saying that sometimes you wonder whether some things are necessary, whether some things are not things that will undo the message of comfort and salvation. That's a decision they have to make for themselves. Anyway, he don't care if you have a quarrel with him. The fact that you spoke about that today, he have a problem with it. I don't know. That's true. Time will tell. I mean, let it be. In this job of journalism, broadcasting, talk show hosting, you gotta expect it comes with the territory. You go take pluck, whether from the pulpit, whether from this or that. You take it. It comes with the territory. So I mean, I think you're doing some advanced second guessing there, and I'm not prepared to indulge in that. Okay. Okay, someone says, don't mention my name here. Father Albert is labor, very, very labor. That's not a consideration in the things that I've said. The things that I've said, that's not a consideration about whether it's labor, etc., etc. You know, it's not the point. But thank you very much. Like I said, I don't want to get into that. It's not political and so on. You know, who knows? Ramapolion's son may have been so flambeau that if I take a political view of everything, I'll say, oh, serves him right. And I don't want to be like that. It perverts your own inner sense of what is just and what is right, where everything you take, you weigh it on the political scale and so on. So he's a labor and he gave a flambeau a pluck. So, you know, yay! You know, no. We can't be this way. We can't be this way. So, anyway, folks, yesterday I served in the Senate, and that was why we had no real issues yesterday. I didn't really stand up to make a presentation. I thought the matters were being well handled between the leader of government business, Senator Gibeon Ferdinand, who's also the parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Investment and so on, Dr. Pauline Antoine Prosper, parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Education, Sustainable Development, etc., who we've since learned has become the acting Minister for Equity, as Honorable Joachim Henry attends to some of his health issues that it's not been a secret about. But you hear some things and you wonder. Like I heard the opposition senators, one of them, going to town on a government guarantee for a $20 million loan by the National Insurance Corporation to the St. Lucia Development Bank. And it was clearly explained on Tuesday in the House of Assembly by the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance that this $20 million is not the government borrowing money, is not borrowing at least by central government. Granted, both National Insurance and St. Lucia Development Bank, they are state entities, they are owned by the state. But we know they are not operated and managed by central government. They have boards of directors, etc., etc., etc. As a matter of fact, there's every reason to keep national insurance as independent as possible. Yes, it is owned by the state, but the governance of it is not a matter where a permanent secretary calls and says, you know, there is a board of directors that says, look, lend this, give this person a loan, don't give this person a loan. That's not the way it operates. It operates according to certain principles. And it's the same thing with ministers of government. They operate, when they take the oath, they say that they take the oath according to law. They have to operate according. The problem with ministers is not the fact that they are politicians. Is when they are allowed and they begin to want to deviate from the laws and the regulations and the policies and so on that ought to determine and guide and govern their actions, the Constitution and all of that. And we allow them to. But it's like they come to town about the government borrowing and this $20 million and this borrowing and all of that, and it is raising the debt to GDP ratio and our repayment is $1 million a day. And no, I'm saying, I sat there and I said, man, just let it be. There has been too much explanation about this is a situation where government wants to help with the capitalization of the development bank so that they can give loans, particularly for housing, to people at low interest, at concessional terms, so that more St. Lucians can become empowered with property ownership, with the empowerment of housing, owning their homes, etc., on repayment terms. So this $20 million is government just guaranteeing it, saying to National Insurance, you can lend. And it's not anybody development bank, it's not Helen Air we're talking about there, the St. Lucia Development Bank. You can lend it to them so that they can now lend to St. Lucians, especially public servants and so on, so that they can get loans to build their houses. And a guarantee simply means Should development bank be unable to pay back, or development bank collapses, that the government undertakes that how many of us don't know that? Where you back a loan, as we say it, or you guarantee a loan for it. Happens so many times. It happens all the time. Who's in the best position? National Insurance needs those kinds of deals so that they can invest money, get a return on it from the interest that they will charge if they are to meet their obligations to pensioners and retirees, etc., and the different things that National Insurance does. If they are just to sit on the contributions that they collect from employees and workers and government and so on, they will never be able to keep up with their obligations. The decline in the value of money, their own operating expenses, their staff that they have to pay wages and salaries, the building that they have that they probably still paying the loan for it and will continue paying it for a long time. And a whole lot of things will eat away at the amount of money that they have, and they will not be able to meet their obligations. Actuarial reports, that is people who go and who look at the future trend of your expenses versus what will come in and what you have to do, your overheads, your bills for electricity, water, all those things that you have to pay, your telecommunications cost and so on, your staff cost. National Insurance will have people themselves who will retire that they will need to hospital benefits, funeral benefits, child benefits, every different kind of benefits they have to pay people. So what National Insurance must do is the money that they are getting, they have to invest it in the safest possible investments, and usually these are government bonds and government projects and this sort of thing, where they can get it, charge some interest, and it will keep the National Insurance kitty at a level where they can meet their obligations and they can sustain their own operations and so on. And some of the best will be when National Insurance lends to government, when National Insurance lends to entities like St. Lucia Development Bank at a rate that when they pay them back, that is not just a recycling and kiting of money, that National Insurance will get what we can call a profit. So government guaranteeing the loan is basically saying, National Insurance, please, you can go ahead and lend the money to St. Lucia Development Bank, who's obligated to pay you back. You foresee St. Lucia Development Bank crashing, but if they do, the government will take the responsibility of paying back, etc. National Insurance, St. Lucia Development Bank, they have assets, they're supposed to. But I heard it's coming to the parliament and lambasting the government for borrowing, and I'm saying, oh Lord, that was explained. This is not a debt that Philip J. Pierre has taken. Then I heard blasting over the Soufrière Cemetery, which has been in a deplorable state since the passage of Tropical Storm Beryl. I say, how long ago was Tropical Storm Beryl? We had that here. We had the video clips where we showed, the cemetery flooded. They showed the pier, the jetty, whatever, the cracks in it, and they need to fix and so on. Anytime you're dealing with certain things, you can't just go and just do it vitae any kind of way. A few weeks ago, but we sounding like it's forever that this thing has been there. And while I was there, and this matter came up about the Soufrière cemetery that they're not fixing and they're not doing anything with it and so on, someone sent me a message, which I immediately forwarded to Senator Harold Stanislaus. And by the way, let me tell you, in the Senate, the animosity thing, we don't have it there. I'm very happy. The UWP people are there. I see all the others, and myself, Harold Stanislaus, I hadn't encountered this man before the Senate in a close and a very nice guy, So don't ever think there's anything personal. We good, all of us. Dominic Fede, my former co-worker at Radio St. Lucia, and Nancy Charles, and when it's Laura Jean-Pierre and so on. I'll disagree with them passionately. You'll see it when I talk, but there ain't no ad hominem kind of thing. Senator Dr. Fira, Polius and so on. No bad vibes between us. We good when we're there. So I forwarded it to him. I don't know if he knew it was from me. Maybe he didn't have my number, but somebody forwarded a message which said, a few months ago, the Catholic Church in Soufrière insisted that government not interfere with the cemetery since it was their property. I don't know if that's true, but it sounds plausible to me that this is our burial place, or this place is owned. There's a lot of things you could say Tepa West, the parish owns it, which is just Another way of saying the church owns it. There's some land the government can't touch unless they compulsorily acquire it. And you have to be careful when you use compulsory acquisition against an institution like the church. It has a lot of influence. It has a lot of support. Some of your own supporters will oppose you that you not be seen to be acting oppressively or repressively towards the church. So that is the message I got, and I forwarded it to him and said, someone just sent me that message, so I forwarded it to you, and I left it at that. But if that is true, that you cannot just go and do things there unless you get the okay of the church, and the church may have many reasons why they might say, hold on, we don't want you to just go there with excavator. This has to do with the resting place of a lot of our people and members, and we want to do it in a certain orderly way, XYZ, ABC, whatever. I'm not talking about people going and taking, Zoom and more to do any kind of thing, whatever, to make people, in our country. I love my country for that, the little, l'histoire, et puis quick quack, comme ça, and they'll go and say, tell moun, you voulez faire quoi d'ici cimetière, ou watch calotte tête moun ou ça. On calotte tête moun, you voulez prendre, pour yon faire un bagay, puis yon sa gagne élection, The real propaganda and the stories. I grew up in a lot of these things. The story about the Bolom and the Gaji and the Lajables, this kind of things. I love my country, the little superstitions and those things for entertainment purposes and so on. I love to tell them, even though I don't believe in them in the sense or whatever and so on, that I could be walking the road one day and a short man, with his arms disproportionately long, his legs short but big and powerful, touching the ground, and his head the size of a truck and so on, and a Bolom man be chasing me and so on. Got some messy list to us, So, it might be something about, and there may be people who believe in it too, might genuinely believe if they take a calotte tête and they make a DT kako in some way and shrink it from here, that is going to help you. But in any case, if the church, as the authority that has responsibility for the cemetery, says, hold on, I think it is incumbent upon the government to hold back, or Honorable Emma Hippolyte, whatever, and to work collaboratively. Okay, how do we move forward together? How do we collaborate? How do we do things that don't offend something, but at the same time the needs of the community and the how it looks. Bernardine, stay on the line. That we don't make it an eyesore, because this is a tourist attraction place, so we don't want it to look horrendous and so on. This kind of thing. I think we can move forward with those things. But we have a call on the line, and it's the Reverend Bernard Haynes.
Irish got fired.
How you doing?
Shelton.
Yes.
How you keeping?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. Shelton, first let me just mention the issue of the cemetery. The cemetery belongs to the Catholic Church, my brother.
It does.
I have seen a lot of
No, don't go too fast. Don't go too fast. You're saying that the cemetery does belong to the Catholic Church?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Now, I know the Honorable Lady Emma Hippolyte has a very close relationship with the Catholic Church. She's a staunch Catholic. Okay? So, I don't think either of them would want to deliberately leave the cemetery. I've seen a lot of people talk about the cemetery, and I know a lot of the talk that has been run is kind of political. Okay, I've seen a lot of conversation about it, but the Catholic Church belongs to the cemetery, and I know personally that Lady Emma Hippolyte is a staunch Catholic, and I know they would have had to have some conversation. And again, there is the GPH project that will be going on, so people just don't expect you to just go and just do things, Yeah, there was a hurricane and people looking dirty on cycling, and let's just go and clean and whatnot. There must have had some conversation between Honorable Lady Emma Hippolyte and so that is not something I think we should be worried too much about. And
you want to make sure that when you go and clean the place, that they do the proper sprinkling of holy water, because they love to try level by like one lame zo just with a chebo tap, right?
Holy water like yes,
E kou fè l'ajan lè sa? E se wou bouk sa? Ma bizwe mande ki mizi limiye ou ni ala ou sa? Sel bay nado. So ou de san, ek yo ba yon kontrak pou netwaye semitiya, make sure ale fè yon pwet vini epi lansan epi insens bagay li avan sa, because so ale la apò han limiya la ou la, on la men just ka sorti ek zo bag, just ka che betalon ek an yen pa fè la jo.
I don't believe in the power of prayer, but the other issue I was looking at, I wanted to talk to you about yesterday was the ETA. Now I know you are trying to address it this morning. My aunt was coming over from England in January of this year to visit me, Shelton. And all before she was getting her ticket. My aunt was telling me about that ETA. She has to sign some paper. She can't travel if she don't sign that ETA paper or whatnot, and so on and so on. But it so happened during the week, I think it was Monday, I was listening to Garfield on his network. And I was trying, and let me tell you something, you see when people's minds are built towards something, it is towards it. I was under the light, and I kept telling these people, this is no travel restrictions against any country. This is not, and the man put the thing as if it was so much a restriction. And you know, the cunningness in it, children, he chose the two countries he wanted to attack. St. Kitts, because St. Kitts the problems like Martinez, and St. Lucia, because St. Lucia somehow got involved in the Martinez issue via Alan Shas. And I kept trying to tell his viewers, this is no restriction. It is something all countries will soon have to be doing. Signing an ETA to get to England. And I'm saying, wow, that is how our people think. Just a little Google, a little research, a little reading, and you will get the correct issue, the correct things, the correct statement. You know, you are listening to a man who I presume to be a pastor, if you say he's one. Twist you all like that, twist you all, man. And I'm asking you all, you just go and do a little Google research on ETA anymore.
Yeah.
Children, people start really, now they can't find no direct correlation with the CIP and Martinez and St. Lucia. Shastri, whatever he tried, did not work. They don't know what to do. They're now going around it. Instead of going quiet about it, that is. Because yesterday I even heard you chastise Dominic Trade in the house about it. You know, they find means and ways to come about the CIP issue. Yeah. You know, contributions to understand, folks. When you hear something, please, there is Google. Go and look a little. Go and check it out. Go and read it out. You know, don't make yourself be in a position where people have to tell you something and you just hear it and you believe it and you run with it. But anyway, the one last thing I was trying to tell you yesterday was in the city. You know, we always need to recognize this gentleman, Bobby Calix from Sufre.
His name was actually Felix, and Felix Calix, but the nickname was Bobby Jack. You know, they used to call him. Yeah.
You know, it was Felix as his name, you know, but most people that's how they know him, Bobby. So I just wanted you all to recognize, you know, that is our only solution. And as much as it was done on American soil, you know, we still have to never forget Bobby, you know, because he died on the 100th floor on that fatal morning, you know. So yeah, I was just to let it say it, you know, let us remember the gentleman, because he too, you know, was one of those who lost his life in that day.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. All right. I think we're due for a commercial break, and if we don't have any callers on the line, let's take the break, and when we come back, the lines... Okay, we have a call on the line, so we'll take that call. Hi, caller. Good afternoon. Real Issues. You're on. Hello. Yeah, hi, good afternoon. You're on the air. Go ahead.
I just want to say something about Prince Albert. Every church, Adventist, Baptist, Jehovah, Catholic, before a funeral, you cannot just come and say, I want a funeral. They have to know what is the procedures all about. So I find Prince Albert was a little embarrassing. Because at least, okay, even though he did not know, but he could have just wait after the funeral, call the people and say something to them. But don't embarrass people like that. That was a disgrace.
Yeah.
And one thing I want him to remember, respect is all about inside the church, outside the church, in front of the church. I remember he had a function and he was whining like any other person. And a lady came right in front of him and the lady started to whine. And she went down. And Albert whined more than her. That was not a disgrace as a priest in front of the Catholic Church. And what the brother sang, I didn't see no disrespectful word in the song. So he had to think twice before he had embarrassed the people like that. Because it was more embarrassing when people seen on social media how he whining in front of a woman. Why when the woman came in front of him to wind up like that? He did not move and go somewhere else.
Okay.
So that's a shame on him.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. I don't know, you know. I don't want to go into judgment about a priest dancing and whether it's proper and all this sort of thing. I only spoke from the standpoint that I felt what happened in that church at the funeral of Ramopolio, it looked like something that could have been avoided. That's the long and short of it. But we're due for the commercial break. Let's take it now.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boost your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
The telephone lines are now open to take your calls. The numbers to dial are 758-487-9849. That's our WhatsApp calling number. And you can also reach us on our local direct line. And that is 4533911. I think we have a call already. Hi, good afternoon. Real Issues.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Daniel.
How are you doing, sir?
Good. You know, I plan to call the Jukba program tonight to talk about for the vaccine.
You call? Okay. Hasn't Jukba retired from? Hasn't Jukba retired from the air on the air or something?
And he's doing the same thing.
Okay.
I remember listening to him once on a Sunday, and he was putting fire on some people from a part of his district because he said about some money or something to bring in for the church or something, and one person said something like expectative or something like that. So some other little society was there. I went to tell him that at the very same sermon, you just finished telling people stop bringing talk on to the boss on the workers, on the co-workers. So glorifying them for starving sales. And then he started saying about what the person said. मैं सबकी मूल हुई बट ही को एक कोई साथी हाँ dapat मेरे dia pernah siapa pos nikale so is the same sale carry the same I'm accepting to bring in food. That's what caused him to say that because that guy admonishing people for carrying sales. And he's encouraging the people in his church to carry it to him. And I don't know, but for me, the first time I heard this gentleman, it was about after the election. And he said something to the effect that the Labour Party went to the cemetery and invoked how many died or something to win the election. And he said, I'm not asking you that, I'm telling you that.
Okay.
And there are other political parties, other islands using that in their campaigning. I've heard them.
Okay.
But what I really called to talk about was
why did it take so long to get to it?
When you're talking about the Millennium Highway and the delay. Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
And the delay in completing the road. But one thing I will say, the person who was a governor representing us on the CDB was Guy Joseph. So if the FDL got the consultancy contract, it's not far-fetched to suggest how it got it. When you take into consideration the St. Jude report, That looks to me like the terms of reference were to find something to destroy the old schedule.
Okay.
And here was not. They gave them exactly what they wanted. They placed it like the schedule is salvageable. Now salvageable means, well, if you have money, you can spend it on it, but that's not good, but you can spend the money and fix it. That's what it is.
Okay.
That's to give these guys a pretext to mash it up and build something else.
Okay.
So when I had this, the consultancy for the road, but this guy, I just remember, guy was governor of CBD at that time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't even want to talk about this again. Something is really, really off with that Millennium Highway, honestly. And I just find the information dissemination, the coming out and leveling with the public about what really is going on, it's severely lacking. You know, you can't have something taking place like that. It's so seriously behind schedule and so on, and then it's a matter of, well, you have to wait. It's not ready yet, and so on. It just sounds so contemptuous. It sounds so arrogant. It just sounds, it's silence, but the silence has a sound of cockiness about it, and I don't have a good feeling about it at all. Even about Caribbean Development Bank. I'm going to mention a name to you all, which I want you to keep in mind. It may or may not happen, but do not be surprised if in the not too distant future that name gets proposed as the person to replace Dr. Hyginus Jean Leo to become the next and new president of the CDB. Just keep that name. The name is called Avinash Prasad. Let us keep that name in mind. You just write it down, type it somewhere, Avinash, I think, and the surname is Persaud, Avinash Prasad. Whether that name does not get proposed forcefully, powerfully, influentially to become the next and new president of the CDB to replace Dr. Hyginus Jean Leo. We have a call on the line. Hello.
Yes, Shelton, good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Shelton, I am doing fine, and I do hope you're doing fine likewise.
Yes.
Shelton, I just want to deviate a little bit and look at the costs of living in St. Lucia with respect to particularly imported goods, meat in particular. Shelton, I was taken aback when a friend of mine traveled to Barbados. And this person went to Barbados, but I think Barbados have more than one supermarket chain. So that I would be surprised to see the prices of items such as lamb chops, lamb shoulders, and lamb neck. These are the things that St. Lucians would have loved to be able to eat at the lamb chops. And I had a picture. I had the prices of these things. And these things, honestly, it costs about 3 times in St. Lucia than in Barbados. But the thing with Barbados is different. They have different supermarket chains. So I want this Prime Minister or Minister of Commerce to look seriously, because I believe Marcy is ripping off the small islands. This one supermarket chain exclusively is killing poor people in particular. It is a disaster for the economy. It is really and truly, it needs to go. It needs to go in a hurry. Because for those of us who travel the region, you will realize that St. Lucia is perhaps, if not the most the expensive country in the region for consumable items. Because that is all caused by a monopoly with respect to the food market. So I want the government of Ms. Emma Hippolyte to look into this thing, because we need a break in this monopolizing thing we have in this country. We need to be able to have competitive prices. And, it's only ironic that we don't make much fuss in this country, Yes, we have many other problems, but today we have to go to the supermarket, and the items, Shelton, they sell on the shelves. You see old apples, some little grapes, like something that was rejected, and still selling a bulk of money. Don't even talk about pear. This thing is half ripe. This thing is like things that was, look, man, I don't know if we have a standard in terms of imported goods in this country and consumable goods. But it's a mess, Shelton.
Right.
St. Lucians cannot eat a little piece of lamb chops, far less beef. These things are killing the poor man. In fact, it's killing even the rich, far less the poor. And just across there in Barbados, I was shocked when I saw the prices that this person was showing me. You know, the prices. And those of us who have friends in Barbados, they can send prices down here so we can give the minister, and minister should be in a position to even know these things. But we just kind of sit back and accept Massey. These guys are wrecking havoc. These guys, last year, it was posted they had over $300 million profit, an annual of $300 million. And Massey have a supermarket chain right through the region. You know, but they can have that there because Barbados have competition. They can have it in Trinidad, they have competition. We need the Minister of Commerce. I remember at one time there's a threat, or I think there was a interest in the supermarket from the states coming down to the region. Sometimes I think in the 80s, but that whole idea when somebody would come and was able to bear it because the farmers was on what it was just a whole melee, a whole column. But we need to revisit that. My generation will not be able to sustain the prices of items in this country, and at the same time they don't even pay their staff any money. You know.
Okay.
So I'm asking the Ministry of Commerce to try to do some sourcing of some possible competition in the food market in this country. Thank you, Sheila.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. We continue taking your calls on 487-9849 and 4533911. We have someone on the line. Good afternoon, Real Issues.
Yes, good afternoon to you, Shelton, and good afternoon to Real Issues family out there.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hope everyone is doing fine, although I see the weather we're looking to fine right now. Shelton, I just wanted to add my voice on that issue with Father about the funeral thing and stuff. From my understanding, and we always said, and I always said that too, even at a time when I was going to School of Liturgy, we discussed this matter. Funerals are supposed to be a solemn thing, right? Now, nobody goes and perform at a funeral. The fact is, when you said monoclub, because even me, on many occasions, I have done a rendition during the signing of the register. These are the times that people most do something. And it's a tribute, and even before I do my part, I call on the congregation and I ask them, no applause after my rendition, except a great amen. Because I did not put a performance, and as far as I'm concerned, after that, after you perform, it is a performance that you perform, but it is not a cultural performance per se, it is a solemn performance and a great amen. This is what is needed. All right? There are times in the church, statements have been made by people and you will clap. There is nothing that can prevent you from clapping in church, depending on the situation. Right. But at a funeral, when somebody pay a tribute to the dead person, there shouldn't be any clap and as if, yeah, man, that was good. No. Just a solemn thing, a great amen. That's my understanding of that situation. Okay. And I don't think that can take anything from anybody. Thank you very much, Sheldon, and we'll link up again.
Thank you very much. All right, do we have another call on the line? I thought I heard another ring come through.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
How you doing, my brother?
Doing great. How about you?
For your one before the last caller, isn't it not something for the private sector? There's opportunities, and solutions, young solutions should look at that as opportunities that are there for them to come together and let us create a new chain, a new supermarket chain. This is not the job of the government to go looking for new entrepreneurs or companies that want to invest in supermarkets. And then we're going to say that people are coming from all over the world and all over the Caribbean and invest in our country. This is an opportunity for us. Okay. And we need to look at it in that form. You know what I'm saying? So all we're going to do is invite people to come and open those businesses, and we're losing those opportunities for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So that is how I look at it. That's an opportunity for a lot of young, well-educated gentlemen to put themselves together instead of buying those expensive vehicles. Invest your money in opening a new supermarket chain, and you could even look for a distributor or to become a distributor for a particular chain out there. So you own your franchise in St. Lucia. So there are all those opportunities for them that are open to them. But the reason why I really call
go ahead.
Shelton, I'm not surprised, and I know you are not either, at the way that people are trying to use the ETA situation and tie it to the TIP. We know that it's done purposely. We know that, and it's done in a very negative way to shed negative light on the government.
Not only that too. I think they need another strand of storytelling to sustain that CIP narrative because the Martinez
what they have is not working.
the Martinez angle has practically collapsed already.
Right, it has collapsed. Yes, it has collapsed. And if you listen last night to the interview from the governor of the ECCB,
they are attacking him already. Like he's coming here to do to do PR and propaganda for the government. Anybody who says anything that sounds favorable or positive about the government, my goodness, they turn on them like a pack of rabid dogs, And it's really
but what I have to say further to that, Shelton, the French citizens for over 10 years now have been paid, getting what you call an ESTA. It's ESTA. ESTA is same as the ETA, right? That they have to get for them to enter America.
Yeah.
And that's over 10 years now. And you pay it online, you get it online. Because since I have dual citizenship, whenever I'm going to visit my kids from now, since I'm back home, I get it sometimes right on the airport, even before I leave. You just do the whatever necessary and they send you approval in no time.
Yes.
And you travel, and you pay with your card and so on. So that has been going on forever, for a long time. So this is not targeting any countries in the Caribbean, And as far as England is concerned, there are 50 countries that are listed.
Yeah.
So to make it look like it is something that is targeting St. Lucia is real ignorance on their part. And what they don't understand, every time those things are debunked, they look more stupid. You know what I'm saying? Just like the former Prime Minister was saying, that when he made his speech about 2 Sundays ago, that the following Monday, that the Bank of St. Lucia would be in trouble with their compliance, banking. And we all know right now that
before you go, there is something I had in mind even before you called. You came to my mind, and I wanted to ask you, how did this ultimatum that the public of Martinique gave to the authorities that if they did not reduce...
it's ongoing. They are supposed to be discussing the matter right now. The association who started, like I said, it's a popular movement. So it's not a movement really run by the unions. It is a popular movement. And what they are now in negotiations. The negotiators, the owners, the business owners and so on, came back with a proposal, but they don't buy it. They say they do not buy what the business owners are saying. That their data, the information speaks differently to what they're saying, so they're not satisfied. So they're still negotiating, but still saying that if at a certain time that they're not satisfied with the discussion, they will revert to blocking the streets and so on, and protests and so on. So it's an ongoing situation, but I see a determination on the part of the popular movement, because they're saying that the former movement, for instance, in 2009, with the unions who were in control, that the unions took them for granted. And they do not want to do the same with the public, because the public outcry is justified from what they're saying, from their viewpoint, and their own investigations shows that they are justified in their demands of the business houses to lower the prices at the supermarkets.
Okay, thank you very much, Shazi. Appreciate it. You know, folks, we got to wrap up now. I got a couple of hard-hitting messages, and I didn't intend whatever I said in my preamble to stoke the fires of any anti-Father Albert or anti-anybody. Like I said, I don't know Father Albert. People have maybe identified what I said about Lambert St. Rose. You'll be surprised when I tell you, this is one of the most pleasant, helpful, reassuring, comforting priests I have ever been in communication with and conversational. This is, barring a couple others, he has been one of the nicest priests to me, and one-to-one with him, a genuineness about him, including maybe about personal issues that I was grappling with, and I might call it counsel me and so on, and he was very comforting and so on. And it wasn't even for that. I went for him for another reason. And just by the way we happened to be talking, and he was such a reassuring. So I have nothing against anybody that you hear me. For example, Father St. Rose, we may disagree on something and we don't even talk about them. He's a nice man to me. No matter what people may say about him, Lambert St. Rose has been, if I have had any doubt about referring to a priest as father, I experience a lot of fatherliness from him. Good man, on that level. So I don't throw people away. Let me just share with you a couple passages of scripture that I might say are among my favorites. One of them is in 1 Timothy chapter 5, and I think it's verse 24. Let me see if I got that right. And I'm reading from the New International Version, which is a version that I don't normally. I normally stick to King James, New King James. I normally don't venture into a lot of the other one, but I find the words of New International Version speaks very well. It says, "The sins of some are obvious, reaching the place of judgment ahead of them. The sins of others trail behind them. In the same way, good deeds are obvious, and even those that are not obvious cannot remain hidden forever." Now, Jaquan, you can do the same thing with the lotto if I don't get to this last verse that I had. And I think the second one is in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 5. And this is what it says. "Therefore, judge nothing before the time until the Lord comes, who will both bring to light the hidden things of darkness and reveal the counsels of the hearts. Then each one's praise will come from God." I've read these two verses to tell you, don't be in a hurry to condemn and to judge and that this priest is evil and this and that. Don't do that. We got to go now, folks. I'm always sorry for the abrupt end. Till tomorrow, God willing, Shelton Daniel signing out.
The winning numbers for the midday draw of Thursday, 12 September 2024 were Double Daily Grand 2, 5, 9, 19, Big 4, 9060. The Big 4 Multi-X ball drawn is 2X. Pick 2, 1, 0. The Pick 2 Multi-X ball drawn is 5X. 1 off. 251. Lucky 3, 946. The Lucky 3 Multi-X ball drawn is 2X.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff.